probably going to annoy me to be behind this microphone, so if I move around and you can't hear me, it's probably not worth hearing anyway, so don't worry about it. As I was thinking about stuff to write, I was talking with Staff Sergeant Connor, and he wrote down this beautiful soliloquy of what he was going to say, and I started to do that and thought of too many things and decided to scrap that, so we'll go a little bit off the cuff. I know first off there'd be a couple things that Travis would be upset about if he were here, and he's obviously watching, is that all the cops are in service dress. That would drive him banana sandwich, that all the cops are in service dress. He might come in service dress, but he'd have a drop holster with his BDU cap at this raked angle where you couldn't see his eyes, completely rolled out of uniform. That's just kind of how he did. And he'd be in the back, because the third reason he'd be extremely upset is now that the rules have changed and you can't chew tobacco in public buildings militarily, he would be watching from outside to make sure that he heard all this. When I think of Travis, the three biggest things or characteristics that he had were charisma, again, that sense of humor, and compassion. When I was married, I deployed, and Travis went by the house. You always have a bunch of people that's their responsibility to check on folks and make sure that the family's doing well. I had 2 children. She was pregnant with our third, our daughter. And I didn't find out till afterwards when I came back that he had gone by there. And I went and told him, hey, I appreciate you going and doing that. And he goes, I really had no idea what to say to her, because she's a captain in the Air Force, 2 kids pregnant, madder than hell. Madder than heck. And I just went over there to see if she needed anything, and she ended up helping me more than I helped her. So I don't even know why I went, but I felt like I needed to go do that for you. That's just the kind of stuff that he, thought about and did. And anytime you'd see him, he was either laughing or he was huddled up with somebody and had his, arm around their shoulder and was talking to them, providing that compassionate side that he had. I don't think he wanted everybody to see it because he thought he was a tough guy. I'm not buying it, and most of y'all didn't, but he tried to go that route. I also have a picture, when we talk about the humor, there was a family day where the spouses and the children came out to the quad, Security Forces quad, to, shoot blanks and, hey, look, I'm driving a Humvee and ATVs, and my son was out there. He's got a 2-finger squeeze, trigger squeeze. I'm going to talk to him about that. I didn't notice that in the picture. But he has a 2-finger squeeze, and we're going to fix that. And there's a picture of Travis kneeling down beside him, boots not bloused, because I don't think he knew how to. Boots not shine, had a boonie cap on, t-shirt, and he's helping my son Reed shoot. And you see the brass in a circle around in front of him in a semicircle, and then if you look around the backside and just the corner of the picture, you see spit. So my son is in a ring of fire of M4 casings and Copenhagen spit. And I felt like he was safe there, even with that trigger squeeze. And then the charisma. I was asked to do a couple interviews, if you will, and at first I didn't want to do that. I was like, these people don't know, maybe they don't care. I don't really want to talk about it anyway. It was too close to when it happened. And then I thought about it and said, I want to, because I can tell everybody else, how I felt and how we as a Security Forces family felt about Travis. And so we were talking, and they said, what's one of the things that you're going to remember? And it's that charisma, that humor, that charm that he had, but it was all unassuming. He knew what needed to be done, but it was almost like he was asking you the question. Especially with me, he'd be like, hey, Cap, I think we're going to do this, and it's probably the best plan. I'm glad you came up with that idea. And I walk away, and 20 minutes later go, I didn't come up with that idea. But I appreciate it, because it didn't matter if you outranked him, same rank, he outranked you, it didn't matter. Peer subordinates, superiors. You always walked away kind of going, it's well in hand. And I thought he was one of those guys that, because he smiled and always had that devilish smile, and he had enough chew in to stun a yak. And he would just kind of grin out of the side of his mouth and have that in. He could probably convince you to leave your uniform in the meeting you were in, not even know you did it until you walked out. So he'd be like, hey, here's what we need you to do. Okay, remember what I need you to take off your service dress. I need you to fold it and leave it here. I'd walk out, there'd be 6 other people in their boxer shorts going, he got you too? Or we would do a response and he'd be like, okay, I'd be like, this is ABD type thing. Griff, I need your help on this. What do we do? And he'd say, 6 white doves, 6 white doves, and a pellet gun. I would run and do it. I'd get halfway into doing it and realize I looked like an idiot. And then he'd come up to me later and go, "You know I was kidding, right?" No, I didn't, because when you talk about ABD and you talk to him, it's got to be right, because it's Griffin. So I didn't get the opportunity, obviously, to form the type of relationship I would have liked to with a guy like that, with the rank and all that. But we had an opportunity to play soccer together. Again, he went and checked on my wife and my children. I tried to return that favor while he was gone. And though I didn't talk to him much after he deployed, if he were here today, we would just start the conversation like it never stopped. He's just a great man, very fortunate to know him. Of course, very sorry for the loss. And when Elijah understands what a great man his father was, if he could be half the man that his dad is, hell, if I could be half the man and leader that he was, I'll call it a good day.
Technical Sergeant Montoya.
I'm just going to go ahead and read this since my memory's going. Krista, thanks for the opportunity to speak today. It's a great honor. We're all here this morning to mourn the loss of an American hero. I've heard that word thrown around in my lifetime, and I'm very cautious about using it myself. I have no reservations about using it today. Travis was a friend, patriot, father, son, a brother, and a husband. I mentioned friend first because that's who he is to me, and that's all I'm really qualified to speak to. How do you encapsulate any man in a few short minutes with mere words, let alone a man like Staff Sergeant Travis Griffin? The answer is you can't, and so I won't. Instead, I'll share with you what I knew of Travis before his passing and what I've learned since. Most of the people in this room can count Travis as a friend, even if they only met him once. That was the quality that struck me first about him. It made you feel as if you were old friends the first time you met him. Travis may not even have known that he possessed this quality, but it was undoubtedly felt by all those who came in contact with him. He was kind, and he gave that kindness away so freely. Travis was a true friend. He helped my wife and I paint our entire house. He helped me plant a lawn here in the desert, where grass apparently doesn't grow so well. He helped me change a tire on my car once, turning a 10-minute job into about an hour and a half of laughing and joking and talking about all the other tires we changed. But he was always there to help. Travis was confident, he was comfortable in his own skin, he knew who he was, and he was happy with that person. He's done some amazing things, yet never once did he brag or boast, though he had every right to do so. Whenever he told me a war story, while I was amazed in awe about what he had actually done, he was just telling me because it was kind of a cool story about a gun or, you know, riding an ATV or something. Travis didn't live in the past or the future. He lived now. Living now is what makes you volunteer for your 4th tour in Iraq. And it's what makes you volunteer to sit in a lead vehicle on your last patrol, or any patrol. All of us can take a lesson from Travis's bravery, his honor, and dedication to service. I know I shouldn't feel sorrow for Travis. He died doing what he loved. Anyone who worked with him can attest to that, I'm sure. But I do. I feel sorrow for the loss of a great man. I feel sorrow for his boy, Elijah. He'll never know his dad. He'll never have a beer with him, talk about his plans for the future, or ask for advice about girls. I feel sorry for Krista, who lost her best friend. Since Travis's passing, I've learned about his childhood. Learned that Springboro, Ohio is a beautiful town with green rolling hills, American flags in almost every yard. That Travis's brother Donnie can play the guitar like a rock star. His brother Jesse has the same carefree, goofy sense of humor. I met a 6-year-old girl in Ohio and made a sign reading simply, "Thanks." I wish I'd never learned or seen these things, but I'm proud and honored that I have, that I was privileged to know a true hero. Travis, I love you. I miss you. And all I can say is thanks.
Staff Sergeant Ferris.
Travis had to be one of the most intriguing and spirited people I'd ever met. I loved him. I loved hearing him tell all the stories, whether it was about work or things that just happened to him on a regular day. He always captured my attention with every great story. Travis's dedication to his job and love for his country could be felt in every word that he said. He made me realize that I should have had a greater appreciation for cops and what they did, whether it was at home or while deployed. The more I was around him and listened to his stories, I grew to have a great respect for cops that I never had before. He showed me that you could really make a difference in people's lives with the job you perform. To know him was to love being around him. My daughter doesn't take to new people very well, but she immediately took to Travis. If he ever came to the door, she would come running out to see who was at the door. She would say, what did Mr. Travis want? And I had to tell her, not you. If Krista was watching her, things were cool until Travis came home. Once he walked through the door, it was all about Mr. Travis and no one else. When we would come to pick her up from our night of being out or anything, she didn't want to leave. She just wanted to stay there with Mr. Travis. That was the type of spirit and effect that he had on people. Words can't explain the depth of his character. He was everything you can ask for in a son, a brother, a father, and a friend. And I'm so blessed to have known him. Krista, I want you to know, you and Elijah to know, that you have an Air Force family here too. Travis, I miss you. I love you.
Staff Sergeant Connor.
Krista, first I want to apologize that you and I never really met until the other day. Jesse, before Trav took off, I was getting ready to go TDY to Eglin, and he was supposed to give me your number, and never had. Distinguished guests, my brothers and sisters in the security forces. What up, money? Those of us privileged enough to have Travis as a friend receive this greeting each time we saw each other. He was never too tired, never too busy, always leading from the front with a smile and quiet confidence. I wasn't worried at all when Travis left for this last deployment because I knew he was the guy that everyone would rally around for training and motivation. Travis was our keeper, our protector, our guardian, our hero. Sergeant Griffin had an amazing ability to teach others to take pride in everything they did. He embodied the word mentor. He took many young troops under his wing and shaped them into proud and capable airmen, ready to face challenges with precision and a newly found sense of duty. When you separated Griff from the training world, it was his spirit and tremendous sense of humor that would come shining through even more so than usual. He was the embodiment of the work hard, play hard mentality. He was the one putting a fresh beer in your hand when you still had half a beer to go. I remember when I had sewn on senior airmen, and even though we were all in civvies at the squadron Christmas party, Trav and Sergeant Chris McHugh decided it was as good a time as any to tack on my stripes. So after they wrestled me to the couch and pinned me down, they proceeded to tack on my stripes. But since Chris was doing a number on my shoulder, Travis decided that he would tack on my stripes on my thigh. He told me not to worry though, because once Chris was done with my shoulder, he would move his way up and tack them onto my shoulder too. He's a thoughtful guy. I woke up the next morning with one solid bruise from the top of my shoulder to the middle of my thigh. This was back in 2005, and I think the bruise finally disappeared last week. Just in time for me to sew on staff. But Sergeant McHugh and Sergeant Burke made sure that Travis was well represented this time around. Travis wouldn't want us sitting around crying all day. He was the one who would pick us all up. Probably stand up here with half a can of Coke in his mouth and spit on the carpet, tell a joke, throw the random hero flag. He'd probably do a booty dance up here. Because that's Griff. My only hope is that our unit continues to learn from his legacy. That we each strive to be as competent and as good-hearted as Griff. That his family can take solace in the fact that we will continue to benefit from Griff's life and lead by his example. May Elijah take comfort in the fact that his daddy was a true American hero. His bravery and his sacrifice will forever be etched in the memories of all those who knew him. In a Stars and Stripes article, and as we mentioned earlier today, we talked about how Griff would lead his convoy in a prayer before they headed into town to face whatever dangers lurked outside their compound. Now, if you don't mind, I'd like to close with a prayer as we prepare to carry on with our mission. May the road rise up to meet you. May the wind always be at your back. May the sun shine warm upon your face and the rains fall soft upon your fields. And until we meet again, may God hold you in the palm of his hand. Love you, Shredded.
Mr. Morris Bitsy has a presentation on behalf of the Navajo Nation.
Good morning. I have a letter here from the Speaker of the Navajo Nation Council. It reads, April 15, 2008. The family of Staff Sergeant Travis Griffin, Kirtland Air Force Base, New Mexico. Dear Griffin family, on behalf of the Navajo Nation, I would like to recognize the enormous contributions and accomplishments of Staff Sergeant Travis Griffin of the 377th Security Forces Squadron Operation Iraqi Freedom. We are eternally grateful for his uncompromised commitment to his country and how he served the armed forces with immense dignity. Staff Sergeant Griffin's life is a testimony for all Americans to embrace an honorable dream which is tempered by unselfish dedication. We can all learn valuable lessons from his accomplished life. Be assured that the people of the Navajo Nation stand with the Griffin family during these trying times. We extend our most sincere condolences to his wife and child, and we will uphold you in our daily prayers. May the Creator be with you during the days ahead, and the path you walk be one of beauty. Sincerely, Lawrence T. Morgan, Speaker of the 21st Navajo Nation Council.
Mr. John Garcia has a presentation on behalf of the Governor of the State of New Mexico.
Distinguished guests, men and women of the military, my fellow veterans. Krista, the governor's asked me to deliver a message of condolence from him and his wife Barbara on behalf of the citizens of New Mexico and also of our veterans of this great state. It reads, Barbara and I are deeply saddened by Travis's tragic death and service to our nation. Please accept our sincere condolences for your loss. And on behalf of all New Mexicans, I assure you Travis's sacrifice and valiant service for our state and for our nation will never be forgotten. Our earnest prayer is for all young men and women who heed the call to defend our country to return home safely. It is our sacred duty to never forget those noble souls like Travis, who made the ultimate sacrifice in order for us and for our future generation to live in freedom. May you find comfort in friends and family as you grieve. Barbara and I will keep you in our prayers. With warmest regards, Bill Richardson, Governor of the great state of New Mexico. The governor has also asked that all flags throughout the state be lowered at half-mast until tomorrow evening, Thursday, April the 17th. He's done that by executive order. I also have a flag that has flown over the state capitol of the great state of New Mexico as a symbol to the love that everyone has expressed to Travis. As a veteran of Vietnam, there was an old adage that came out of that war, Krista. It said, for those who fight for it, freedom has a flavor the protected will never know. And I just wanted to thank Travis for protecting that flavor of freedom for all of us.
Lieutenant Colonel Chapapas.
Well, I'll be honest with you, I've looked to this moment with some anticipation and a certain amount of dread. Lisa and Jeff, thanks so much for you and your staff putting together the right ceremony. Colonel Feehan, Colonel Summersby, Colonel Marsh, Colonel Barskar, Colonel Baker, Chief Reese, Chief Chrysler, and a whole host of others, Mr. Garcia, that I should mention. I thank you very much. To look across the sea, I see leaders from the state, city, local police departments, and this base. And it's very clear to me where the priority lies in honoring an American